In the quiet corner of a charity shop, a suitcase sat, filled with an aura of sorrow that was almost tangible. This was no ordinary suitcase. Its worn leather and brass buckles seemed to whisper tales of bygone days, and its weight bore the heaviness of untold stories. A strange sensation washed over anyone who dared to touch it, a feeling akin to mournful sighs escaping from the depths of the case. The suitcase had once belonged to a woman of wealth and stature, a lady known for her elegance and charm. Yet her story was not one of joy and prosperity. It was a tale steeped in betrayal and anguish. Her family, driven by greed and insatiable avarice, had stripped her of her fortune, leaving her with nothing but this suitcase, filled with her clothes and remnants of a life once lived. Little did anyone know, this suitcase carried more than just clothes. It carried the tale of a life filled with deceit and sorrow. The suitcase, as if it could speak, began to unfold a tale of its previous owner, a woman of fortune. She was a woman of elegance and wealth, but beneath the glimmering surface, a tale of deceit was brewing. Her own kin, blinded by greed, plotted against her. The family she trusted and loved schemed in the shadows, their hearts hardened by insatiable greed. They manipulated and deceived, slowly draining her fortune while she remained oblivious to their treachery. Every jewel, every property, every penny was stolen until she was left with nothing but this suitcase filled with her belongings. The final act of their deceit was the most cruel. The woman, once enveloped in luxury, was forced onto the cold, unforgiving streets. Alone and betrayed, she clung to her suitcase, her last possession and the only testament of her past life. The woman, stripped of her wealth and dignity, passed away, leaving behind her suitcase an emblem of her sorrow. And so the suitcase found its way to the charity shop, a silent witness to the woman's tragic end. This was no ordinary case. It bore the weight of a life cheated and a fortune lost. As it sat amidst the second-hand trinkets and discarded items, it seemed to radiate a palpable sadness. Those who dared to touch it were washed over by a strange feeling of sorrow, a silent plea from the past. The woman's family, once consumed by greed, had stripped her of everything, leaving her with nothing but her suitcase. This case, filled with her belongings, was the last vestige of her existence. It was her final testament, a sad memento of a life that had gone from riches to rags. But there was more to this case than met the eye. The suitcase, now a vessel of the woman's sorrow, seemed to hold a secret, a twist in the tale. The story of the woman's life was far from over, and her suitcase was about to reveal a surprising turn of events. And then the unexpected happened. The family that had once been drenched in riches found themselves in despair. The fortune they had greedily snatched away from the woman was now slipping through their fingers like sand. Investments failed, properties were seized, and their lavish lifestyle became a distant memory. In a bitter irony, they were now forced to sell their possessions, and their once grand home was replaced by the cold, unforgiving streets. They were shunned by the society they used to command, their reputation tarnished by their greed and deceit. The woman's sorrow was now echoed in their own lives. And the suitcase? It ended up in another charity shop, silent and unassuming. It had seen the rise and fall of a family, the sorrow of a cheated woman, and the poetic justice that followed. In a twist of fate, the family lost everything, much like the woman they had once cheated. The suitcase, it seemed, told a tale of not just sorrow, but of revenge from the grave.